Why is my SSH connection timing out in Linux? Imagine trying to connect to a remote server and suddenly the connection drops or hangs. Frustrating, right? That's often what happens when your SSH connection times out. Let's figure out why this might be happening and how to fix it. First, think about your internet connection. If your network is slow or unstable, your SSH client might not get responses from the server fast enough. High latency or interruptions can cause the connection to drop. Testing other internet services can help you see if your connection is the problem. Next, look at the server side. The SSH server, which is usually called SSH daemon, has settings that control how long it waits before closing idle or unresponsive connections. These include parameters like ClientAliveInterval, which is how often the server checks if the client is still there, and ClientAliveCountMax, which is how many missed checks it allows before disconnecting. If these are set too low, the server might disconnect you too soon. Firewall settings are another common cause. Firewalls on your computer or the server might block SSH traffic. If the SSH port has been changed from the default port 22, or if your IP address is blacklisted, your connection could be blocked. Ensuring that the correct port is open and allowed through the firewall is essential. Server overload or limited resources can also slow responses. If the server is busy or running out of memory or CPU, it might not respond quickly, leading to timeouts on your end. To fix these issues, start by checking your internet connection. Make sure it's stable and fast enough. Ping the server's IP address to see if it responds quickly. Then, verify that the server is running and reachable. You can do this by pinging or using tools like Telnet on the SSH port. Next, review the server's SSH configuration file, usually found in SSH SSHD config. Look for the parameters related to timeouts, like ClientAliveInterval and ClientAliveCountMax. Increasing these values can give the server more time to respond. For example, setting ClientAliveInterval to 60 seconds and ClientAliveCountMax to 10 allows the server to wait longer before disconnecting. Check your firewall rules on both your local machine and the server. Make sure SSH traffic is allowed on the correct port. If you change the default port 22, update your SSH command accordingly. For example, use SSH P20 to 20 to user@serverip if the port is 22. You can also increase the SSH client timeout by adding options like ConnectTimeout. For example, running SSH ConnectTimeout is equal to 60 user@serverip gives the client more time to establish the connection. Finally, look at the server logs, such as var log auth log or log secure, for any error messages. These logs can tell you if there are issues like failed login attempts, resource shortages, or network problems. Remember, different Linux distributions may have slight variations in default SSH settings or firewall configurations. Knowing these differences helps you adjust your setup for a more reliable connection. In summary, SSH timeouts happen mainly because of network issues, server settings, firewall restrictions, or server overloads. By checking your internet, reviewing server configuration, and ensuring proper firewall rules, you can keep your SSH sessions stable and responsive.